thank you. Wednesday the 30th of April, here with Denise, Hollie's line manager. Just want to have a quick chat about Hollie and how she's working here. So can you just quickly talk us through Hollie's role, what she does here?
Right, Hollie is primarily responsible for our reprographics department. That's basically doing any scanning that's required, photocopying, photographing test equipment, producing brochures and booklets for our training materials.
Okay, brilliant. And in terms of how Hollie works, how does she work in terms of following policy, systems and procedure and sort of supporting your organisation? How does that work? She does that effectively?
Yes, because of the type of work that we do, Hollie has to follow procedures because a lot of the work that she does is sensitive and obviously it's going out to customers, therefore it has to be done in a correct manner.
Okay.
We have procedures for most of our jobs and these are normally displayed on our website.
Brilliant.
So
okay.
If she's not sure of anything, all she's got to do is ask me.
Excellent, okay. And how does Hollie work with other people and communicate? How does she work with other people in her team, outside teams, different departments, the business as a whole?
Because of what she does, she obviously meets a wide variety of our employees. So she does work for all departments. Within my own department, Hollie's very good. She's never refused to help us out in whether it's covering in the restaurant, chopping up a few vegetables for us if we're short-handed, helping out with a buffet. She helps out in reception every day while myself and the receptionist goes to lunch. Or if Sue's actually on leave, she'll help cover me while I go to meetings. The same goes for stores and archives if they're short-handed or they need any help. Hollie's always willing to step in, as well as doing her own work. Which, unfortunately, we're not very able to help her on that because although we've had basic training, when it comes to producing brochures, I'm sorry, I'm at a loss with that one.
Okay.
So she's got one over on me on that.
Good. And in terms of sort of how she works and setting sort of standards and the quality of her work, can I ask your feedback on that?
Yeah, I've had no complaints. We did have one only incident with the laminator. It didn't come out too good. It started to peel. One of the other administrators who'd used that machine before, she gave her a couple of guidance on it and basically said ramp it up to its highest setting, which obviously Hollie at the time was a little bit reluctant to do. Seems to have cured it, doesn't it? No complaints since.
That's good. So she understood there was a problem and she helped repair it.
Yeah, that's right.
Brilliant. That's great. And in terms of feedback and listening, if there's other things and looking for new things to help out with, like opportunities and challenge, does she? Has that come up? Has she taken feedback on board if there's anything you've had?
And plus we do individual personal development reviews. In fact,
brilliant.
Hollie's had she's had a main one last year, and I just recently did the 6-monthly one. And obviously with that we go through all of her tasks, come up with ideas between us as to ways of improving it.
Brilliant.
And take that on board. I also feed back to her whether there have been any problems, which we haven't had. So she's done really well.
Brilliant.
Gets on well with everyone. A little bit shy still, but she's getting better, aren't you? Especially now she's been doing a lot more on reception.
Right, okay, so that's a good. Actually, while we're talking about that, does Hollie show sort of respect for people, different backgrounds, abilities, beliefs?
Yes, she's very good. She's very tolerant, more so than I am. So, no, very good. And in fact, we're hoping if our plans for reception go ahead, that Hollie will actually spend the majority of her day down on reception. She'll have her own workstation and everything, and do some of her brochures. Obviously not everything can come down, photographing and all that still needs to be done upstairs, but it would be a good opportunity for her to be in the hub of our department rather than tucked away upstairs where can be a bit lonely at times, can't it? And it'll be good for her.
Yeah.
So
Show
it'll
progression, like you said.
also free up Sue as well. You know, I can understand she feels that obviously she's confined to barracks at times. You can't just get up and walk out and do other things. You've got to sit on reception. So I think between the three of us we'll have it covered, won't we?
Brilliant.
And we can cross over our jobs a bit better as well.
That's good. And so does Holly sometimes evaluate if other things need to change or do anything differently? Is there...
Oh yeah. I mean, if she sees that we're a bit set in our ways.
Okay,
If she sees that we're doing something and she'll just sort of say, if you do it this way, what do you think?
Right, okay.
I'm always open to ideas. That's following what we call our continuous improvement stroke lean.
Okay.
If you look round the site, we've got notice boards up everywhere which relate to lean, and we're supposed to be having training on that later this year. We've got a department within quality that specifically deals with lean actions all the time. In fact, I'm going to have to do actions for the whole of my department at some stage when I've had some training.
Right, okay.
But, in fact, we've even got a spreadsheet which is called 1001 CI ideas on our department's part of the website.
Right, okay.
And we all have to go in there. If we can think of something, and we do it on a monthly basis, which is discussed at team brief, if you can think of ways of doing everyday tasks in a better manner, you put down your ideas, we then bounce it around in team brief, and people will say, yeah, that's a good idea, or no, it's not going to work, and basically it'll either get approved, progressed, or discarded.
It's very proactive, isn't it? And Holly, you've been part of this, have you?
Oh yeah, Holly's putting a couple on.
Excellent, that's brilliant, that's good. And in terms of Holly communicating in writing and her mannerisms when people come in reception, is the sort of content that she writes correct? It follows your procedures? Is it, does it speak in the right context for business, etc.? Holly has to obviously respond to all emails that are coming through, especially when she's covering reception. There might be somebody wanting a taxi booked. They don't always put down all the necessary requirements, like where the flight's coming from, is there a mobile phone number. So, quite often we have to go back to the originator of the request and ask further questions. So obviously we have a certain mannerism in the way we put it. So Holly does follow those, And is there anything, do you have to proofread it, or is she able to send it out and it's...
I'm quite happy for Holly to deal with that herself.
It's all been fine, And she, in terms of her tasks, she understands how to prioritise what's important, what needs, maybe that can wait because you've got this coming up.
That's right. Particularly with their own tasks. If we've got a training course and they've left it to the last minute, maybe there are more people coming that shouldn't, then she'll have a rush job, and I know Holly will usually get in touch with the people that she's already promised to do work for and say, look, I'm sorry, yours may be a little bit late, will this be a problem to you? And she'll prioritise it.
Good, okay.
Good like that, aren't you?
Yeah, that's good. And listening skills, that's all, verbal skills and communication, but also listening. And I know you've taken on feedback, I've seen some of the emails.
Yeah, obviously, when Holly answers the phone, I know it personally because I have it all the time. We often get people who phone up, they don't know who they want to talk to, they're not quite sure exactly what they want.
Right, okay.
They start listing all these standards that they want something tested to, which unfortunately is a little bit gobbledygook to when you're a receptionist, because we don't know exactly. So you have to ask them leading questions to find out which department they're talking about, what type of testing. It might be environmental, it might be safety, it might be telecoms. We just need to ask a few leading questions, don't we, Holly? And then occasionally we get a member of the public who's bought a product which has been tested by us and it has our logo on it, and they'll phone up a typical example is a little old gentleman who phoned me up. He'd bought a Hoover which had our logo on it.
Oh, okay.
And he wanted to know where he could get some Hoover bags.
Right.
And I had to explain to him that we're not a manufacturer,
No.
we're a test house,
Yeah.
and it might not necessarily have been all of the product that had come in for testing. It might have only been the process that had been approved for certification.
Yeah.
And he didn't know who the manufacturer was, because evidently their label wasn't as good as ours and had fallen off somewhere over the years.
Right, okay.
I wasn't able to help him on that occasion, and we do have this quite a lot.
Okay, so patience and listening.
You've got to be patient, you've got to put it across. He just couldn't understand, but all I want is Hoover bags. Yeah, but unfortunately you can't deal with that.
No, okay. And so finally, just a little bit about Hollie's sort of security, maintaining confidentiality, security and managing risk. Hollie keeps a note of everything, does she, that she sends out? She files those on her system?
Well, we've got Outlook, so obviously Hollie has folders in there. So any emails that come in, she obviously creates a folder which would be sufficient, you know, so that if somebody said, oh, I sent you an email a while ago about something, I can't find it, could you have a look through yours? And Hollie would say, right, okay, what was it in reference to? So she would have a certain subject.
And diary system, as Hollie?
We've got our electronic diary, which we all use to create meetings and reminders. We've got task management, where I've shown Hollie how to create herself a task.
Okay.
It could be a reoccurring one.
Yeah.
When you do your weekly checks for her meeting rooms.
Okay.
She follows a spreadsheet that we've created between us.
Brilliant.
With a tick list.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
Yeah.
She has to follow procedures when it comes to dealing with CDs that contain test reports, which are obviously confidential between us and the client. Yeah. So Hollie has to follow procedures exactly to the letter when she's creating that and sending it out.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's exactly the same as she was working in stores.
Yeah.
When they bring a test report to us and they say this is one of the secure ones, we have to deal with only one courier.
Right,
and it has to be dealt with in a certain way. Hollie is aware of that, as is the rest of my department.
Okay, so property and things, she follows all of that securely.
Yeah, we all have to do that.
Yeah, okay, brilliant. Perfect, that's brilliant. Thank you. Thank you very much for your input. That's lovely. Thanks.